Simplifiers is the podcast that cuts through the complexity of digital transformation to reveal what works. Created by Solteq, hosted by Amel Gaily, and built for anyone who believes clarity beats complexity every time. In this episode, host Amel Gaily is joined by Julia Paulsen, Director of eCommerce at Elkjøp Nordic, and Risum Jakobsen, Senior Designer at Solteq. Together, they explore what it really takes to deliver simplicity in the digital world, and why it's one of the hardest things to get right.
But let's dive right in. Julia, when we say simplicity, what does it actually mean to you in the context of e-commerce and digital experience?
Well, for me it means focus, and you have to really look into all aspects, right? So it would be very easy just to start talking about making customer journey very simple. But this actually, for as a leader in the e-commerce space, it's about having focus and making sure that you're focusing on the right things, whatever you do. So you always have to start with data, and there also what kind of data you should gather. Because again, we are swimming in these data lakes. So to keep it simple, ask yourself, what data do you actually need to make customer journey better? Same with technology choices. You can get very much into the hype and start to think, okay, making all very, very fancy choices in terms of technology and overcomplicating your technology stack, when actually you should think, why do you need technology? What kind of problem are you trying to solve, and what are you trying to do for the customer? So you have to bring both simplicity in terms of what data you gather, what kind of technology you use, and then in the end, how will that make customer feel at ease when they are having an experience with your platform? So it's about three things, and it really keeping that customer focus in mind and having focus on what is actually important for your business and what drives value, because when you drive customer value, that will drive business value.
Exactly.
That's that simple.
Yeah, exactly. I love that, starting from actually why and then working our way out towards from that. And from a design perspective, what's the difference between simplicity and just, making things look clean?
Well, simplicity is all about how you present things to the user, really. Clean is also about how you present things, but in our case, we work with a lot of B2B clients as well. So they will have in the web shop a lot of information, as you say, a lot of data, and we need to present that to the user in the right way. So it doesn't mean that we have to take out stuff, and clean would be more like you clean everything out, you take away stuff, but that's not necessarily the case. It's about making it look simple and intuitive to the user. So building a good hierarchy, basically, in the design that will help the user along the way, and that makes it simple for the user. So that is basically what it is.
There's sometimes a misconception between kind of thinking that minimalism is the same as simplicity, but it isn't, I gather. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that the minimalism is about, as I just said, taking away stuff.
Yeah.
Or take away all the stuff that you don't need, or
exactly.
that makes it looked cluttered or stuff like that. But simplicity is about the intuitive, making it look easy, making it simple for the user to act and react with the designs, basically.
I have actually a good example about this, because when we were making a new website, we heard a lot of customer feedback that they really hated our pop-ups. Okay. And we all know that pop-ups is anything other than simple and bringing a nice design. But again, because we went to the view that, the pop-ups are bad, no one likes them, they're too in your face and very intrusive. So then we listened to the customer, we took away the pop-ups, and instead we had very nice one extra page where you could actually go yourself and select all the insurance services, accessories that you need. Very nice and simple. Yeah. But no, actually the results showed that the customers were not finding then the page. And then actually, instead of, being happy about it, that the pop-up was gone, we got complaints that people didn't know anymore where to find accessories. It's almost like you come to the store and someone says, oh, we have all this stuff that you needed to make this product better. You just go to that shelf there. So it wasn't any more helpful. So actually what we realized, we needed to bring that horrible pop-up back.
Yeah.
But what we needed to do is to make the design intuitive. We needed to make sure that the flow is good. We don't repeat things, and we only show things that you actually need in order to enjoy that main product better, so that your customer also feels that we are taking care of them.
Exactly.
So I think this really kind of explains this. Is, you know, it's not about the noise. It's about how you make that journey clear for the customer, that you are actually trying to help and you try to guide and advise in a good way.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think, and add to that, I think that the timing in that is everything as well. So presenting the right information at the right time in the journey.
Exactly.
So I think when the user gets annoyed about the pop-ups, it's also about when do we present these pop-ups.
Yes.
Like if you just arrive on a site and you maybe click somewhere else because you want to see a certain product, and then you expect to come into a site and you see that product, and the first thing you sort of get in your face is a pop-up, and then if you're on the mobile, you might get the keyboard popping up as well, right straight after, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. I want to tell all the businesses out there, if you are getting this pop-up with the newsletter sign on after 10 seconds customer has been in your site, stop doing that.
Exactly.
That is not effective. Customer doesn't even know if they want to buy a product. Why would they want to join the newsletter? And then you're really missing out.
Yeah.
Because then when customer is more in the journey, like you said, and actually wants to buy and thinks, oh yeah, there was that 10% discount if I joined the newsletter, but now you don't get the pop-up.
Exactly.
And you're cleaning cookies, going in again. Ridiculous. So timing is everything, like you say.
Yeah.
But great examples, and I'm sure very relatable for anyone listening, because we've all felt that. Felt that pain of frustration for an ill-timed pop-up.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about kind of, it takes a lot of hard work to make things look simple and to make the experience feel simple. So Anne, you've said that, you know, simplicity is hard work. So what does it take behind the scenes to make something feel effortless to the user?
I think it takes a good collaboration with the people that we're working with, the customers, our internal work, their preparation for everything. So making sure, as Julia said, that we get the right data at the right time. How do we access that data? When do we present it to the customer? Is it even necessary to present them with the information that we think is necessary? So sometimes we do a second round, like it's phase 2, because the first round is everything that we believe should be there and that the customer believes should be in the design. But sometimes, as we just discussed, the user will tell you something else at the end. So if we can remove stuff, that makes sense to just take away stuff. But we need to get everything in there to start off with that at least our customer believes they need to have, the user needs to have.
Exactly. You really need to smoke test things.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's one thing about A/B testing, but the other part is the smoke testing, where you actually have to see how customers behave. Because, like, I really like what you said about the fact that also customers might think they want something.
Exactly.
And that's why, you know, if you have a survey and someone says, okay, how often do you exercise? You say, well, at least 6 times a week. But it might be in certain cases that actually it is in reality 2 times. But it sounds better. So same here. You have to actually get it in front of them. Would they actually click that button? Would they actually make that choice? Would they follow that CTA?
Exactly.
So it's very important to see not what the customers say always, but what they actually do.
Exactly.
So it's,
That's so it's design is not like a one-go thing and then you're done. It's like a continuous journey that you need to keep working on to make sure that your users are satisfied.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned collaboration. So, Julia, what are your thoughts on that? What kind of collaboration is needed between design, business, and tech to make things happen?
Oh, it's absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
And again, quite many companies might make this mistake that they think about it like a linear process. So you have maybe business seeing that, okay, we have the strategy, we have these KPIs we need to fulfill, and we are going to do this and this and this to achieve it. Then they give the designers a task that, okay, you need to design this without explaining why again, but just you need to do this. The customers must be buying. We need on this product page, we need to have this button explaining this. you go and work, and then you have IT who will go and maybe implement this in the end, who also again doesn't know why and what's happening. And that comes very, very, first of all, it takes too long time. There are many mistakes, misunderstandings, and there's no really collaboration. So we have brought teams together. So in my team you have both business, commercial side, you have the UXers, you have the tester who making hypotheses and gathering the data, and the IT, all working together. We brainstorm together, we go through our OKRs together. So I'm using objectives, key results to bring the strategy into practice. So everyone understands why we need to do these things. And we also don't go and say to designers, you need to do this. So this is the problem. We combine the NPS data that we get from the customers. Where do they have frustration? We have quite good tools in our website to see where customers have frustration areas. And then we brainstorm together. What could be the reason? Why do they rage click here? What is happening here? And then we think together best solutions. And actually, both designers and on the IT side also, our front-end developers, they have quite good ideas. And then we, like you said, start with that hypothesis. And then we test and reiterate, because that's also just evolving process. But it's very important that whole team works together. Everyone understands what's the strategy for the company is. They understand what customer pain points are. They understand really why are we again doing this. And that everyone is part of it. And then you get feeling more ownership. And also you get better collaboration and things actually happen. And there's no like misunderstandings like, I thought you needed green button. No, I actually wanted to have a warning that you must buy a charger. That cannot be actually read because that's too much. So they have that discussion in the process, not when we are live and what is that? Who made this? No, so it's the full circle. And we also do retrospectives together. And I think that is really important part as well, because it's not only getting things live, it's also how the actual test went. We go through the numbers together, how can we improve? And we also always look into our process. So how have ways of working, what could we improve? So you don't only look at the business side of things, you also look into how have we collaborated and was there why this took so long time? Oh, well, this guy was actually sick and we don't have anyone to replace. So you always try to effectivize things as you go.
Really, really interesting and really great concrete examples. Well, let's think about kind of the physical dimension as well. So, Julia, as said, you're coming from the retail side. So what lessons from the physical stores still apply online?
Yes, we have to be a trusted advisor also online. And in the stores, how we do it, we ask questions. And normally that's the misconception that online we cannot do that. Because online, we are the ones pushing things that you probably don't want into when in store. We are being helpful. But we are trying to really find out, especially now with the help of AI, how could we also be asking questions online? How can we take the approach, the winning approach from our very fantastic colleagues in the stores who really know their product? And if you have been at Elkjøp store, you have been in Giganti, you probably have met with someone who doesn't just come and say, hey, you, buy this fridge because you look like you need a fridge. Buy 2, you get 50% off. That probably doesn't happen to you. If it does, you have to tell me afterwards. But, it's very, very important that we also online, we don't try to just push things that you don't need, that we use data. That would be the same as in the store. You would ask, hi, well, are you here for business or pleasure? What kind of problem? Why do you need new phone? What kind of phone? Is it for you? Is it for your child? You find out and find the best product because, we users, we are not stupid. We know we have the information. You cannot sell us things that we do not need. And same now online. We are trying to listen to the customer. And, online they are talking to us with every click, with every bounce. But they are actually trying to talk to us. So we just need to gather that behavioral data and improve and start asking more questions. So you see now that we also have some filtering, we're trying to use on the search as well to find out what is it that you need and narrow that search. So we are not just pushing you the offers that we want to sell, but actually give you something that you want and need.
I actually think it's a really good point about the users getting the help in the store that they need and they will be guided, because I know if you sort of like, for example, at Zalando or in your case with the fridge, I mean, the user will know I need a fridge, but they will not necessarily know which one.
Exactly.
And if you go to a web page or a website and you sort of type in fridge and you will get a million of products looking almost similar. And then you have no idea where to go if you didn't sort of sit down before that and say, maybe you Google something, maybe you want something specific, but the user really needs that sort of the guidance in some sense. And online we can do it by asking to some extent, but we can also do it with tags, like this is the most popular fridge. Or say, for example, Zalando, you were searching for a white shirt and there are like 6 pages with 1 million products on each. And if you go down to a certain point, it will start asking you with the banners in the middle, do you need a collar on your shirt?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you need like a slim shirt?
Exactly.
So guiding you to some extent, getting you towards the right product. Otherwise, it would be too much for the user. They cannot make the choice.
Exactly. Now we do exactly the same now, but we are using the data. So let's say that you have been hovering around this type of product. We see maybe, okay, you're looking now for make a very good deal. Maybe had spontaneously, washing machine has suddenly broken, so you don't want to spend too much. And you will tell us by filtering, by clicking, and then we also have then these carousels saying, maybe this is the best product.
Yeah.
Because like I say, it's overload of products.
Yeah.
So you try to narrow to that
exactly.
This is, and also that the customer feels like, okay, this is the right product, I'm making the right choice. And here also we're using a lot of ratings and reviews from other customers, because then customers actually, they really like to hear from others that, and using that feedback in the right place, very effective also to confirm. You know, because in the store you kind of feel confirmed by the seller, like, okay, yes, we made this together. Online it's more you get from the reviews, the ratings, you hear that, yes, now I have made a good purchase.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's touch a little bit more, Anne, from your perspective on kind of the similarities between store design and digital design psychology.
Yeah. First of all, there's the thing that we just discussed, but there's also like the full user journey. Like we all know in IKEA, for example, they have the arrows on the floor.
Yeah.
So they will give you the straight user journey through the store. You have to go all the way through the store to make sure that you get the products that you need, and they can maybe add a bit more. But you do the same user journey in all stores basically, and you also do it online. So we need to make sure to guide them through that user journey. And as we all know, we have the example with that the supermarkets also know when to sell and when not to sell. And when you're standing at the checkout or the cashier at the supermarket, you will be able to just get the last piece of candy or the magazine that you need, or, I just need something good for myself. I just finished this, or whatever your thoughts may be. It's like a good way to end. And we also work with some laws and some heuristics in UX. And it's one of them is called the peak end rule. And it's about how we experience things, like the psychology as human beings. So if you go through some sort of experience, you want that experience to be remembered as something good. What your user journey needs to look like is, as it says, the peak end rule. Yeah. So you need to have some sort of peak in the middle or somewhere in the journey, meaning that you might get like the extra 10% off because you chose that exact product online or something like that. That is, you didn't expect that. And then at the end, it should be easy to check out. Yeah. You should remember it as something good. It might be the candy at the end of the journey. It might be something else, but something to make this experience good at the end as well. So if you shop somewhere online on a website, if you're only on that site for 2 minutes to get 1 or 2 products, and it's quite easy for you to get, you cannot do a checkout that takes 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I really love that you say, and especially, when you have both online and stores, and we see quite many customers also then collecting at store, but you also have that whole last mile part. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. We can do everything correct. Yeah. Online, everything is perfect. Yeah. You check out, it's sitting there peacefully. Yeah. And then suddenly it takes not 5 days or 3 days, as we promised, to get you that fridge, but actually there's a problem and suddenly it's 10 days. Yeah. And everything is ruined. So then it is, you have to see the whole thing. And that last mile, like you said, that is so important. Because when you rate the full experience, you need to, and that's why also it's for business, when you have both stores and online, and they also have to work together.
Exactly.
Because customer is not wanting to look into your business inside and, that department was great, but no, they will see the full view.
Yeah.
And you have to succeed in all. And I like that rule. That is true. The weekend is important.
It is very important, And we also know it from our holidays, right?
Yes.
So if you're traveling around,
true.
Make sure you end up in the good hotel in the end, because then you will remember that holiday as a good thing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's really, really great, I think, anecdote, and I think super relatable. So in a way, kind of, am I wrong to, or the goal is to make the online experience kind of as intuitive as walking through the store?
Yeah.
I think these examples were really great. Well, Julia, you often say, don't guess, test. How does that play out in your team?
Yes, we have a motto. It's ABT, always be testing. That's our. That's how we. And I really. It's a cliche, right? Everyone's like, fail fast, do this, but you have to really live it.
Yes.
And when I started Elkjøp, for me it was very important. I said I can join the company and I can do the role for running the e-commerce if I have a testing team. If I don't have conversion rate optimization team, I would never be able to get the best out of our website. And I was back in the days working at Zalando, and they really taught me this on terms of that testing is everything. You can never assume. You have to test and test really fast. And luckily we have quite high volumes, so you don't have to test, don't have to be so long.
Yeah.
So we have a Crow team that is working where you have IT, UXers and business people all together. And we try to, every new feature, everything that we are launching on the site, utilizing, of course, a lot of psychology. I am very lucky. I have fantastic UX designers in the team who are really interested in what triggers the user, what helps the user. They actually, you can feel the love and passion from them, that they really want to make things better for the user. Yeah. And we give them the tools that they need, both in terms of getting insight, having a lot of great examples on how to run UX journeys online. And we basically test everything. Yeah. We test and then we implement. So it's both in terms of bigger feature launches, improving the actual customer journey, everything. Yeah. So we don't just go into production. And everything starts again with data, and we are using both NPS. We get quite a lot in a month, around 40,000 comments from the customers. So customers are engaged. That's a really good sign. So we use that as a guidelines, like what is the most burning issues where people have problems. And concretely, you mentioned checkout. Actually, when we changed website again 1.5 years ago, we didn't just go and change everything, because the website was working, but we knew that something was off. I knew the performance was off, but what else? So we used customer feedback, had the whole year feedback all gone together through AI, and it told us exactly what customers hated, and checkout was #1 pain point. And we found really interesting things. For example, that customers said, you don't have payment options. And that was very interesting for us and for UX, because we have all the payment options that you can just imagine. But it was in this carousel. So actually in mobile view, you didn't intuitively see that you can just scroll, just see a bank card and then nothing else. And just by changing the design, we have seen a 6% increase in checkout rate immediately. So it was really, utilizing the insights, testing, and then implementing the whole new checkout design. And the results are amazing. So just listening the customer, testing, it really works.
Yes, what a powerful example, I think, a really good one.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things that we work a lot with as well. Not only that we do some sort of testing with some of our customers, but we also work a lot with accessibility at the moment.
Same.
As you mentioned, so it's about, do the user even see what we did here?
Exactly.
I mean, as you said, the choices, are they visible? Are people colorblind so they cannot see that you actually make the choice that you've made? Or it's like these small UI things that you think is working, but it's just not working.
Yeah, and that's why you have to also test the different experiences.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
it's not only because Accessibility Act is coming. I said technology belongs for everyone, and it's very important that you can cater to everyone.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because normally you test things with the same device, with the same internet connection, with the same ability to see and touch. So we are really urging ourselves and also using partners who are testing the site from different kind of aspects that everyone can access the site similarly.
Exactly.
And for us, so it's extremely important.
It is.
Yeah. Well, and how do you balance creative intuition with these data-driven design decisions?
I think one of the things that I do when I sort of speak to a client, when we start from scratch or more or less scratch, we will work with the heuristics and the laws that we know. But the best way to do this is, like, as I said before, to make a first draft, to make a first version that is out there, and then you can start testing and start growing the site and start figuring out where are the pain points, what do we need to adjust in the design. So that is the best way. But as a starting point, I will listen to the customer. I will hear what they have to say, what they think they need, and then I will design from that.
Yeah.
And from what I know about UX and all of the psychology that is behind the UX as well. So that is a starting point for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, if I see some numbers, I can also tweak
Exactly.
to the extent that I need.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about kind of metrics and measuring. What are either of your thoughts on how to measure simplicity?
You know what you cannot measure doesn't exist. And don't tell me love. What about love, Julia? Yes, that also. You can measure love in many ways. We'll talk about that later. But we basically, everything is very much data-driven. And of course, we're very lucky in line that you have all that data. You just need to make sure that it's accessible. And it starts with data literacy. And you cannot assume that everyone understands and that everyone knows how to read data and that everyone reads dashboards. So we really start that everyone has, first of all, same view of data. Everyone can read dashboards and understand the data right way. And that when you start a discussion about the problem or challenge we are having, that everyone is looking at it from the same starting point. So for us, it's extremely important that we share data, everyone is looking. We have actually established with the team a focus hour because we saw that it's quite easy. You know, here I can sit and say, oh yeah, we're looking data all the time. But you know how it goes. Hamster wheel goes and suddenly before you know it, you're only looking at the reports in the end of the week or when the certain period is over or test is over, and only then you evaluate. But now we have a whole hour and the team has the same checklist. Everyone goes through the same dashboards. Everyone is looking at the test, how the tests are going, test results. We're looking at our content square data in terms of user behavior. What are they saying? NPS data. What has been the biggest frustration points for the customers? And of course our sales dashboards. So that everyone's on the same page. So when we meet during the day in any meetings, everyone has the same view of the reality. So we're not like someone is thinking, well, this is going really great. And others are, well, no, this is actually not good. So everyone is in the same page. So we really measure everything. And my main tip there also is that you have to make sure that there also simplicity way, that you measure the right things.
Exactly.
What actually matters for the customer. Because here I think people sometimes forget that what drives business value is actually what drives customer value. See, when you start from customer value, making sure that customers are happy and you measure that correctly, and also you don't lie to yourself. I have seen many tests have been done where you are trying to improve conversion, but then you see conversion is actually shit. But the click-through rate, well, that one really pop off the roof. And suddenly you change your success metrics and say, well, we were after click-through rate here. No. You have to be honest with yourself. It's not such a thing as a failed test. It's a failed learning if you didn't learn anything and if you didn't adjust your behavior. So it's extremely important to be data-driven, especially in this end. I demand that from my whole team, that they know their numbers.
Well, let's talk a little bit about kind of over-engineering. We talked about it briefly also in the beginning of the episode, but let's come back to that. So what happens when we over-engineer the experience in the name of optimization?
I think maybe also in regards to what you just said, because you work with one side, you work with one team all the time. In our case, it's a bit different because we have a lot of different clients and some of them are not even close to testing or they might be somewhere else in their journey and they don't know where to start. They might not be willing to spend that much money yet until they are ready to go to that next step.
Yeah.
So they will start with the technical stuff. And I think what you need to remember in that regard is the technical stuff is important, but as you just said, we often work with when we start up an MVP solution, so we need to have that, we need to have the PIM system, we need to have whatever system we need to have with the money that we have. But what we also need to remember in that regard is that we need to also have like a minimal, lovable product that comes out. So we need to consider the user in all this.
Yeah.
Will the user even know if there is a PIM system there? I mean, of course they will. If you're selling a lot, that is necessary. But I'm just saying, sometimes we forget the user when we start out the way we do with all of the technical stuff, and it becomes a lot more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that happens like everywhere in the journey, basically. But it just becomes very visible in the beginning of a project often, I think.
Exactly. No, because I think you have to follow the user journey, not your journey. And, you know, sometimes you kind of try to copy how we do things into the user interface. That is nothing, it doesn't really relate to, we think that, user wants to solve it like this.
Yeah.
But you don't actually know. You add steps that are absolutely unnecessary. And I really like what you said about the PIM systems and the systems overall. I think there, like said, in the beginning, we really have to think, what is it, the problem we are solving, what is important? And not everything is equally important.
No.
And I think that is sometimes kind of lost in translation when you're doing transformation or you're starting to look at tech stack. You start technology first. Big mistake.
Yeah.
Because you really need to, what are you solving here?
Yeah,
and yes, it will be solved with technology. And that's why for all the leaders who are from the business side, like myself as well, you do need to be technology enthusiastic because you need to understand what kind of problems are you solving, what technology is best for that.
Yeah.
And how we solve that, we work with IT together. So if we have ever new supplier coming in or we look at the full architecture of we are solving case like personalization, we work together. We have both people from the business side giving you requirements in terms of what do we need, and we talk really on a customer's voice. This is what this is the problem today. For example, with PIM, customers don't get enough information on the products in the marketplace. We don't have enough quality information, so they cannot find what is the best product for them. So then IT can understand, they have they need someone that's really flexible. Then you have different marketplace partners. We have to be able to get their product information a good way to our website. So then they have a clear case, and then we discuss together. And when we evaluate our suppliers, we see what is the best fit for both worlds. Developers to good with, architecture overall, and in the end, making sure that the customer always wins.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to work there together.
Exactly.
You cannot just get, it's a classical waterfall case is that a business just gives requirements, a long document made in PDF with 34 pages. IT go deliver, and then, IT didn't deliver what you thought. But it's them. We gave the 34 pages Bible to them.
Exactly.
No. You need to do this together. You need to evaluate together. You need to do the POC. The minimum lovable product needs to be there.
Exactly.
And then you implement. And you go step by step. Don't start with a big bang and just change everything and burn out.
So more requests, more steps, more features does not equal more clarity, but usually the opposite.
Yes,
it's
what
not that
you
the
need.
technical stuff doesn't need to be there. You just need to take the chopper up and then have a view of the whole thing before you just start from there and say, I need this and this and this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about emotions and the human connection. So, Anne, you've said that simplicity also has an emotional layer. So what does that mean?
It means that when you work with design especially, it means that, for one thing, like Elkjøp, if you have a big brand, what you present to the client, to the customer, to the user, needs to be on brand, first of all. And when it's on brand, it needs to be appealing also. And when we talk about appealing and being on brand, you start creating emotions with the user. So it can be small things. It can be rounded corners versus straight squared corners. So it's like the little soft things that makes a site looks a bit different. So it's all about how you want to connect to the user in the end. But most of all, it is of course about being on brand for most clients. But it's also smaller than that sometimes.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's
color choices also.
Exactly.
Like we see banks are often blue, right?
Yeah.
So we make a certain connection to that one. It's also like an emotional connection.
Yeah.
It's how the tone of voice, how we talk to people on the site also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So everything will create some sort of emotion with the user on the other side of the screen, and we need to remember that as well.
Yeah.
It's even us Finns, we have emotions. People don't believe it, but it's true. And I think that's, like you said, I really like that you have to be on brand, you have to deliver on brand promise. And, for us, trusted advisor, it also applies to online. And there you have to remember that because the choice, as we discussed, there's so many products, it's so difficult to make the right choices. And it's not always rational.
Yeah.
So you cannot always go with hard facts and just numbers and rating and good discount. You have to feel something.
Yeah.
And one exciting example now, Black Weeks are coming, the peak of the peak is here. There are certain triggers. For example, we are using a lot of urgency messages, which basically means that if you come on the product page, you can see suddenly like there's 834 people looking at this product.
Yeah.
Oh no. And then there's 650 who have added this product into the basket, or there's only 50 products left.
Yes.
And these type of triggers, and we have really worked a lot with this. It has to be, first of all, it's based on the real-time data. It is something that someone can say, it creates a bit of stress. Yeah. But it's kind of good kind of stress, because if you needed that laptop and you were planning to buy it with this discount, and you are there just thinking, should I really? It's helpful to say there's only 50 left.
Yeah.
So those triggers have been working really well. And that is not tapping in the heart of rational facts. Yeah. Is our fear of missing out. And you don't want to miss out.
Yes.
So
very fundamental human emotion.
Yeah.
Julia, from what you've seen, how does emotion translate into customer loyalty in e-commerce, for example?
It's extremely important. Like you said, I really loved you have to live your brand everywhere. You have to breathe and live it. It's and loyalty is a very difficult topic, because sometimes people think that loyalty is just sending a newsletter and being part of the customer club that you don't even know that you are part of. And then you get some benefits. And I admit we are quite guilty of that as well. We have been in the past. Like we have almost 9 million members in our loyalty club. But let's be honest here, these are people who get our newsletter. They are the ones who are getting the discount a bit earlier than others in the Black Weeks. And of course, that's great. I'm not dissing our own loyalty club, but we are starting to be better. Yeah. Like we are starting to really understand we need to treat these people better. Yeah. We need to start using the data, because real loyalty is that you meet me where I really need to be met. You see me how you should, how I want to be seen. And that's the thing, I know that our brand is not something that you just go in and you come to Elgiganten or Giganti pages just to enjoy yourself. It's so nice, I'm getting... No, you have a need. Yeah. And we need to make sure that we kind of help you, that we know you, we have some data on you, right? Yeah. Especially for Customer Club members. We need to use that data to help you to make the right choices, make it easier, so that you feel that you're really taken care of. Yeah. And one example of that, how we're going to use data in the future, and this is happening, is that in your page, if you have bought a washing machine, and now you have had it 5 years, we have this information, right? If you have given us the data, you have given us consent, we have that data. Yeah. And what if instead of just pushing you a new washing machine all the time, we say after 5 years that, by the way, did you remember that you have to do this and this and this to make sure that your washing machine still works? Sending a newsletter telling you that how you keep it clean, how you actually do that difficult part of emptying the water from down and cleaning the difficult parts, and communicating to the customer as part of the products they have bought from us, the journey they've had with us. And using that data to bring the real loyalty that you're taking care of. We're not just pushing new stuff to you, but we actually try to help you to make right choices. And I think that's the real loyalty. And then you feel like, they have really helped me now. Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah. And that's a big shift.
Yeah. And also making that journey intuitive.
Yes.
Because as soon as you make people stop and think, basically, then you have a problem. Yes. It just needs to be intuitive. It needs to be something that they don't think about. So making the UI work, as we just discussed earlier on as well, about the accessibility, it can cause so many emotions if you just give them one obstacle along the way.
Yes. Yeah.
And it can be tiny things.
It's all right.
Very true. All right, before we wrap up, I want to talk about how to build a simplicity culture. And as you're both looking at it from different perspectives, I want to ask both of you, and we can start with you, Julia. So for companies listening, where do you even start simplifying?
Well, again, it's a progression over perfection, as I tend to say. You have to start, but again, I'm sorry to just repeating this all the time, but it's the data.
Yeah.
You need to really understand your customer. It's no easy way to the golden jar in the end. You have to really do the grind. And the grind starts by understanding the data. You have to get structured data in place, especially now when AI is coming, taking over all of us, right? It's very, very important that you actually make sure that you understand what's important for your customer. Not for you, but for your customer.
Yeah.
What is it? What is your competitive advantage? What is that thing that makes your brand you?
Yeah.
And what simple looks like for you? Because it's not one recipe for everyone.
Yeah.
You have to make sure what is your unique selling point? What is your unique brand value? What is unique customer journey? And make sure that journey, you just nail it.
Yeah.
And don't go together, don't just jump into the hype.
Yeah.
And just do everything what everyone else is doing. Focus on what is your journey, your strategy.
Exactly.
And make that better constantly. Because I loved how you say it's evolving thing. It never stops. No. There's no finish line on January 26th.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just keeps on going. And as a cultural lead, as a leader, you have to really make sure that you really, walk the talk.
Yeah.
And you mean what you say, and you show by example that you really mean that we need to focus on customer, and things happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
do you think?
a good way to start with customers that are really not in the place where you're at the moment is looking at the user journey first of all. I do small things like look at the top navigation. It's not really a small thing, but like the navigational things on the site, making sure that they work the way they should. It's also about the PIM system, making sure that you don't have two items in the top navigation called accessories.
Yeah.
Because if you have like a reader on your screen, then you will not know the difference between accessories and accessories. I mean, it's simple stuff, but it just needs to be working.
Yeah.
So making the navigation right. It's about keeping certain design principles to start out with, and it doesn't have to be big things, but it can be big things. So if you start from scratch, I think that's where you need to go, making sure that your UI works, making sure that your colors work, making sure that your navigation works, basically.
Yes, and then maybe just a tip there that again, if you're a business leader, go to your website.
Exactly.
And people are like, of course I go there. How often do you go there?
Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah.
How often do you actually go, do journeys, click through, try different things?
Exactly.
Do that weekly.
Yes.
Ideally daily. Go and check how your page, how is it working?
Yeah. And sometimes make your mother take that journey.
Exactly.
Because
and
then you have a different get a different picture, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic. So simplicity it's a culture, not a campaign.
No.
And definitely not a one-off thing. No. Thank you both. This has been extremely inspiring and inspirational. Today we've learned that simplicity, it isn't a shortcut, but it's actually a strategy, which demands collaboration, discipline, and empathy. And when done right, simplicity doesn't just make things look better, but actually makes them work better. This was Simplifiers, brought to you by Solteq. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and share it with someone wrestling with digital complexity. Join us next time as we explore what happens when we focus on product data, brand integrity, and responsibility in retail. Thank you so much for joining, and until then, keep simplifying your digital world.
Thanks for listening. To learn more about Solteq and how they help simplify digital transformation, visit their website, www.solteq.com. Simplifiers is produced in partnership with Solteq by Here Media.